Highway 1 near Big Sur has created a logistical nightmare for Caltrans and for residents. As many as 2,000 people were stranded over the weekend. Now they're being escorted slowly through the area.
California coastline collapse, coastal erosion pictures, download free images on Unsplash. The stunning beauty of California's coastline belies its fragility. In early March 2026, an otherwise ordinary stretch of seaside suddenly crumbled, sending tons of earth and debris plummeting into the ocean. Video from the scene shows homes on the cliff's edge, mere feet from the void left behind, highlighting how quickly the ground can give way beneath familiar neighborhoods. Emergency crews and scientists are scrambling to understand the disaster and warn residents up and down the coast. Key facts: sudden landslide. A severe winter storm coincided with king tides and pounding surf, triggering a landslide that swept away a section of coastal bluff. Witnesses reported a thunderous crack as the cliff failed without visible warning. No warning. Geologists note that coastal bluffs can collapse unexpectedly when undercut by waves or saturated by rain. In this case, residents and officials were caught off guard. The earth simply gave way. Video evidence. Amateur footage captured a large chunk of bluff toppling into the sea during high surf. Photos from before and after show the coastline receding dramatically. Rising threat. Scientists have long warned that California's cliffs are vulnerable. In fact, experts predict that up to 100 yards of cliffs could erode inland in coming decades, endangering everything built near the shore. One climatologist bluntly stated, "We have many multi-million-dollar homes falling into the ocean. If trends continue, historical precedent. Sudden collapses have happened before along the coast. A similar event in 2019 near Encinitas killed beachgoers when an ocean bluff crumbled beneath them. Even this winter, a Santa Cruz bluff visibly collapsed during heavy surf. Geologists emphasize that the more catastrophic losses often occur in these abrupt slides, not in slow erosion. The collapse event, officials say the collapse occurred without the usual telltale signs of danger. Local news footage shows that minutes before the slide, the cliff face appeared intact. Then, without warning, a rumble was heard and the ground cracked open. 2 houses and a stretch of road toppled abruptly into the surf. Residents who survived described the scene as surreal. One moment, the sea was crashing on the base of the cliff. The next, the whole oceanfront fell away. Miraculously, there are no reports of casualties so far. Geologists immediately began surveying the scar. Early analysis suggests that heavy rain and powerful waves had eroded the cliff from above and below, undermining it until it catastrophically failed. Science behind the collapse. Coastal erosion experts say this was a textbook case of nature's forces combining. As the Smithsonian science editor noted, collapsing coastal bluffs are a threat wherever waves, earthquakes, and intense rainstorms can destabilize steep seaside terrain, and with sea levels rising, this risk is increasing. In practical terms, the region saw a so-called our atmospheric river, a torrent of moisture from the Pacific, dump record rain on already saturated cliffs. At the same time, unusually high king tides and storm swell pounded the cliff base. Geologists explain that wave action eroded the lower layers of rock, while rainwater seeped into upper soils, lubricating fractures. When those two processes intersect, the cliff's toe is undercut and its top gets heavy. A collapse can happen in an instant. Experts compare this event to a Southern California landslide captured on camera last year. In that case, an ocean bluff suddenly crumbled and tragically killed a beachgoer. The common theme is unpredictability. Cliffs can look stable right up until they aren't. A University of California scientist reported that during recent storms, even seaside structures were undermined. Decks and pools literally hung over empty air. Why have these atmospheric rivers? And then the hills start eroding as well, says climate researcher Kathleen Tresidder. In short, both relentless waves and intense rainfall combined to weaken the ground to the breaking point. Broader context: California's coastal collapse is part of a worrying trend. Reuters reports that increased storms and sea level rise are already eating away at beloved bluffs. One scientist predicted that in coming decades, 100-yard swaths of cliff could simply erode away from the shoreline inward. The San Onofre nuclear plant and a major coastal rail line have even been threatened by recent slides. Locals note that beaches no longer buffer the cliffs as much as they used to. Years of sand loss mean waves now pound the cliffs year-round. Another California collapse this winter happened in Santa Cruz, where a video shows a bluff breaking off into the ocean as a king tide surged. Scientifically, the clues point to climate change making these disasters more frequent. Warmer air holds more moisture, intensifying rainstorms. Higher seas allow waves to reach farther up the cliff. Some California geologists are now using LiDAR and other tools to monitor bluffs in real time. But even with advanced warning systems, one expert warns that there's no way to hold back the Pacific Ocean indefinitely. In many places, officials say the only long-term solution will be managed retreat, moving homes and roads away from the edge as the land gives way. What experts are saying: local officials have declared a state of emergency along the most threatened sections of coast. The state geologist office has dispatched teams to scan for cracks. Leading climate scientists have taken to the media to explain that this collapse is not an isolated freak accident, but a symptom of systemic change. University researchers quote Reuters' findings, noting that experts have been warning homeowners for years that many multi-million-dollar homes could eventually drop into the sea. Others have pointed out that this event could have been predicted in a broad sense. Models show the area's cliffs were losing ground at roughly a foot per year, then eroding suddenly during storms. In interviews, residents echo a sense of disbelief and dread. It happened so fast, one homeowner said, speaking off camera. Nearby residents review video clips and photos trying to piece together the timeline. City councils and the California Coastal Commission are now reconsidering building codes and setback lines. The California Geological Survey is studying soil samples and ground penetrating radar data from the site. Looking ahead, this dramatic collapse is a wake-up call. As one UCSC geologist put it, these bluffs are the brink. Even if a collapse happened without obvious warning, the underlying threat has been building for years. Going forward, scientists stress monitoring, ground sensors, drone flights, and satellite data may catch instabilities before they fail. The community also recognizes there is no quick fix. Reinforcing cliffs is expensive and can itself alter sediment flow. Ultimately, adaptation, relocating infrastructure further inland is likely the only permanent solution. For now, the focus is on safety. Emergency barriers have been erected and remaining structures evacuated. Environmental agencies will study how this landslide altered local ecosystems. On the human side, planners will reassess which areas are truly safe for development. In the end, California's breathtaking coastline has once again proven its dynamic nature. The phrase, breaking news, is literal here. The land has literally broken away. While scientists work to prevent future disasters, the message is clear: the ocean is reshaping California, and vigilance is more important than ever. Sources, news reports, and scientific analyses of recent California bluff collapses and erosion trends